The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
So what do you want?
What do I want? I want to use my degree for good. And in general.
I kind of meant like a muffin or a latte.
I want a job with a generous work-from-grocery-store policy.
You are here a lot.
Debbie, please, I'm working.
I want a job that will change the world.
Ma'am, this is a drive-thru.
And some nuggets.
With LinkedIn's new AI-powered job search, you can find roles that match your unique skills so you can dare to discover more. Visit linkedin.com/jobs to learn more.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and yes, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it, forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it. I didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be with you today and to share this message and this show and these ideas with you that will help you and hopefully help me as well to do more, be more, and achieve more. Because we want you to have greater personal, professional, and financial success. And we want you to be wealthy in every which way you can be wealthy. That includes financial, intellectual capital, health, as well as relationship. We got all of that about being healthy and wealthy and wise in the Wealthy Ways Show, the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. So welcome to the show. And I want to thank you for your making this show the number one self-help show in the country, because you have shared it with your friends, your family, your peer group, and your network. And we encourage you to keep doing that, because we want to help as many people as we can all over the globe to have greater wealth, health, and wisdom. And, I take a moment to start with that 1 minute, God's minute. Then I take a moment every show to give God some glory, to give him some praise, to thank him for life, strength, health. Thank God for what he has done. Not just the fact that the show's doing well. No. Not just the fact that I get to speak all over the world and the books are doing great. No, I want to give him thanks for friends, for family, for health, for the opportunity to do what I am grateful and blessed to be able to do, and to make my living in living my making. I love that when Les Brown says, you're blessed when you can make your living doing what you were made to do and live your making. So great. Thank God for that. And then I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor. Our sponsor is Truist Financial. Truist Financial. We take a moment to thank them. Two great banks came together to create an even greater bank, Truist. They have a shared purpose to build and inspire better lives because they care. They care. They start. What happens when you start a bank that cares? You get Truist. With combined resources, collective passion, continuous pursuit of innovation, Truist is opening the door to a better financial experience to help people who want to achieve more. So, see what the future of finance is shaping to be at Truist.com. That's Truist.com. Truist Bank, member FDIC. Well, I'm very excited about today's show because this is a special show for me. I am grateful. I am blessed. I tell you, I'm blessed to have good friends, good family, good faith, and I believe an inclination that all of that will help me have a greater and better future. Well, one of my blessings is that I'm a member of the National Speakers Association. And the reason I'm a member of the National Speakers Association is because about 30 years ago now, I was starting my speaking business and I wanted to learn how to become a better speaker. And someone recommended I call the National Speakers Association. I called and they said, well, we would love to send you materials, but there's also a local chapter. And we want you to call the local chapter guy. I called the local chapter guy. He called me back. His name was David Yoho. David Yoho. He was the president of the local chapter. And we had a conversation. He told me their convention was a few weeks off in Orlando, and he invited me to come. And I went to that convention, and it changed my life, changed my business. When I got back from the convention, I joined the local chapter, and David became one of my best buddies. And he did something that changed my life. He introduced me to his father. His father was an iconic speaker, one of the founders of the National Speakers Association, and a consummate businessman. That father, Dave Yoho, became my mentor and became what I call my pop. He is known by our family as Pop. That's all I call him, is Pop. And so over 30 years now, he has been a constant force in my life, helping me, mentoring me, and developing me, not just as a speaker, but as a businessman and as someone who handles money. Let me give you a little bit about Pop, Dave Pop Yoho, as I call him. He was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was born, and I'll tell you in a minute how long ago, but it was considerably a long time ago for most of you. He founded a company at the age of 28, which eventually operated with 22 branches, 13 states, and he has made in excess of $100 million. His ideas and counseling have brought success in thousands of industries to thousands of people. And he has spoken for Fortune 500 companies all over the world. He is the president of the oldest, largest, and most successful consulting company representing small businesses. He has appeared in over 200 training videos. He's the author of a number of best-selling books, and he is well regarded in the speaking industry, but also well regarded as a financial expert. Here's one more thing about him you should know. He dropped out of high school to serve in the World War II in the Merchant Marines. He fudged his age so he could get in. He got in at 15 or 16. He'll tell you more. And he went to war in World War II after living through the Depression with his parents. When he came back from the war, he got a GED. He put himself through school at night while working to get his undergrad degree. And he went on to build a massively successful speaking, consulting, and publishing empire. So he is my guest today. We're going to talk about money, but I wanted to introduce him formally. Dave, as I call him, Pop Yoho. Pop, how are you?
Very good. I'm trying to absorb all the kind things you said about me and disseminate how many were just basic facts, which in your glorious vocabulary, you accelerate to greatness. So thank you, Willie. And I am also proud of our relationship. And I refer to you as my son and your wife as my daughter. And you are great and grand people to be. And this is not quid pro quo. You are. You've made a lot out of your life. And you maybe started with a little more than I did, but the key is not what you make in this world, but how much you keep. Yeah, money. That's a great thing to remember about money. And
let me ask you the question I kind of fudged on, because I want to make sure I'm clear on. I want to make sure I'm accurate. How old are you now, Pop?
93.
93. Okay, folks, he's 93. He goes into the office every day. Now, he used to be between two places, Hilton Head and D.C., or Virginia, D.C. area. And now he has focused more in the D.C. area. And he still gets up every day. He used to get up early and go to the gym. I think his wife told me he goes to the gym now in the evening. But he goes to the gym. He works every day in the office. He does a full day. He's active. He has events. He's well in demand. Many times I'll call him and they'll say he had to call you back. He's got one call after another lined up. He's working full time every day at 93. Pop, tell us, how do you do that?
Well, first of all, it's, it isn't a choice you make because you don't have other options.
Right.
And work establishes dignity. See, nothing that comes easy will you remember the way the things that came from a difficult source. But the other thing, we can never stop being educated because the world is changing as we speak. The people have changed, finances have changed, geography changed, the mores have changed. So you have all these societal changes. You want to keep up with them, you have to become educated. And so wherever you want to take this, you go ahead. Well,
I'm going to start with this. You grew up in the Depression.
Born in 1928, and the Depression was in 1929, the stock market failed. That was Black Friday. And in 1933, which was 4 years later, the banks failed and people who had mortgages, savings accounts, that was all lost. So if you look at the progression of events from the time I was born up until, I'm going to say, maybe 38 or 39, the country started to come out of that depression. But it was a 10-year stint, and I was 10 years old. I was 13 years old when the war started in World War II. I was 15 when I first enlisted. The first time I enlisted in the Navy, they caught me and called my parents and told them I was a truant. The next time I did it with a little better forgery. But by the time I went away, I guess I was 16 or almost 16. And when the war ended in August 15th, 1945, for the 15th, 4 days later, I would turn 17. And I had been in the South Pacific in a combat area for quite a few months at that time.
I love one story I found. Oh, by the way, I want to encourage everybody to go to see his speech at the World War II Memorial. I was there that day. It was done in 2017. It's on YouTube. It's phenomenal speech that he was chosen to give this speech to celebrate the accomplishments of those of the great generation. And incredible speech, but it's on YouTube. But there's one story I read that he was in the bow of the ship, and he said to one of the older guys, "Hey, what happens if we get hit while we're here? What should we do?" And the older guy said, "You don't do nothing. You're gonna be dead."
Well, a true thing. I was in the engine room. My job was in the engine room, and I was on a war emergency tanker. And we're 35 to 40 feet below the waterline. So they were practicing with the gunnery. And I said to an older guy, he was probably 22 or 23. He was an officer. If we take a hit, how's the best way to get out of here? Because we're 35, 40 feet below the waterline. And he looked me in the eye and he said, "Kid, if we take a hit, you ain't going to get out of here." And that was a reality. See, life is full of realities. Yes. We can think, we can dream, but unless you believe, you never find reality. And reality comes from saying in your own mind, there's something I don't know. I'd like to know more about it. And the crucible of that, the the nexus of that is the fact is that you cannot know what you do not know. And until you can say in your heart and mind, I do not know this, you will never learn the truths or the realities of life. So you ask a question, you get an impactful answer, and it may not make you happy. If it's a reality, it tells you, here it is. Now, what are you going to do about it?
Amen. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, folks. We're going to talk about money. Pop has made millions of dollars, but more importantly, as he said, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep and how you get your money working for you as you work hard for the money. You're going to be amazed. You're going to be inspired. You're going to be encouraged, and you're going to learn. Get your pens, your pencils out, and get ready to take great notes. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. And for sure, your best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Afraid of flying, I always kept my dreams on the ground. Life had enough ups and downs, but Lord, since I met you, all that's changed in the blink of an eye. Now all my heart wants.
Are you ready to revolutionize your relationship with money? I'm Brian Ford, a financial wellness expert.
And I'm Bright Dixon, an expert in positive psychology. Together, we host Money and Mindset with Bright and Brian, a podcast from Truist Bank that's all about exploring the relationship between your money, your mindset, and your well-being.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts or truist.com/money and mindset podcast.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered why some people can make $1 million, lose it, make a second million, lose that, then make a third million, while other people can't even make ends meet? Well, the reason is that those people know the recipe for success. And that recipe is available to everyone if you will do what they did. They made a habit of getting positive, motivational resources of great thinkers and great learners. And I want to offer those same kind of resources to you. We've developed a free page on my website. It's wjspeaks.com/gift. wjspeaks.com/gift. On that site, we've got resources, books, audios to help you to grow, and they're free. So go to wjspeaks.com/gift, wjspeaks.com/gift, and get some of those resources, and then share that page with your friends and your family members. We want to impact and inspire millions of people. And remember, if you enjoy this message on this podcast, like it, share it, and post a review about it, and make a difference in the lives of others by letting them know about it. Have a great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley.
A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show, across America, border to border, coast to coast, as my friend Joe Madison says. And I want to encourage everybody to make sure you go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com. All my websites are there. Sign up for the newsletter, because every week we send out the best lessons I've learned that week from our guests and other experiences that will help you to do more, be more, and achieve more. So go to winwithwillie.com and you can get access to my faith-based website, my success website, my personal website, my professional website, my youth motivation website, and our marriage website. WillieJolleyMarriage.com will be also. All of them are there, and you can get access to all of them right there at winwithwillie.com. My special guest today, he is a World War II veteran. He was born in 1928. He's now 93 years old. He is a consummate businessman. He was a founder of the National Speakers Association. His list of accolades and accomplishments goes on and on and on. But what I wanted from him today, what I asked him specifically to talk about was money, how to help people grow their wealth. And the things that he has said to me and taught me about just basics. Pop, Yoho, welcome. Thank you for being on. And let's go to work. Let's talk about what you tell your children, your grandchildren about creating wealth. Of course, work ethic. You always have stressed that work ethic. You got to work. But then when you start making the money, how do you make that money become an asset and not something that flitters away? What are the principles that you tell people and your kids?
Well, so now you're getting paid, and no matter how minimally it is, you're getting paid. Now, what you're paid has to go to your sustenance to stay alive, but there's always a way to do it set aside. Some of the most fervent givers in Christianity are the people with less. If you could consider a ratio, a guy that gives you $5 in the collection plate who only made $90 last week is a lot different than the guy that can give you $10,000 because he made $1 million last year.
Yes.
So the set-asides are very important. Put something away. And it came from the fact that I was born in the Depression. My father was out of work for 2.5 years. We never owned a home, never owned a car, anything like that. But if my father made $25 in a week, he had to save some of that for the unexpected consequence. If you use that as an example, you say, so what you're making every week, how many people do you know that don't have an IRA? That's an independent retired account. That's an IRA. And what it does is take whatever you can afford from that. And there's a maximum. I think the max is now, you can't give more than $15,000, but don't think there, because an IRA is simple to set up. It's done with a little piece of paperwork. And you can put money in that account that is tax-free. If it's $100 at the end of the year, if it's $500, if it's $1,000, $50. If you're giving it to your IRA on an annual basis, that business money that's in there, I say business money because now someone has to invest it. I'll come back to that in a second. But when you get to a certain age, you can take that money out. It has been tax-free up to this point. You can take it out when maybe you're retired, semi-retired, and it's at a lower tax rate. Now, in my particular case, I started investing in IRAs when they first came out. So the max you could put in those days was maybe 10,000. Then it got up to 15,000. So I had an IRA, and by the time I retired, there was probably $500,000 in that IRA.
Wow.
And now I had never taken any of it. At 70 and a half, you got to take the money. So now I have that money in there that is tax-free. I never paid taxes on. Now the government ain't dumb. They want the money when you take it out, except that now what I do when I take the money out, I never touch the money directly. I have it sent to a charity. Now take a year like this, I'm forced to take out $20-some thousand this year. I don't pay any taxes on that money. And the reason I don't, I send that to a charity. I send that to my church or to the American Merchant Marine Veterans. I send it to bona fide charities. And if you now are in a place where you're making money from other sources, that becomes tax deductible.
Wow.
Because the total amount is tax deductible. And now the IRA, remember, is untaxable money. Anytime you touch it, you have to be very careful how this is done. There's a formula for doing it, but you can take that money out. So I don't muddy the water too much here, but I muddy the water. If you own and run a small business, and businesses, I always tell people, if you're going to run a business and you're going to work with other people, you get exposure, better get the business insured, and you better have insurance on your capital as well. But you can create something called a SEP, S-E-P, IRA. And that allows you more. That in that particular case, you can probably contribute up to $35,000 or $40,000. Thus, if you're having a good year in your business, you can put that money away and it's non-taxable. Now, in my case, I choose to give it to a charity. If it wasn't, it would come out at my current tax rate. Now, right now, if you were to take that money out and you were not working otherwise, you might be in a 12 or 15% tax rate. I don't know that. I don't know that much about what the individual is doing, but you can check that out and find that out. Now, the other thing is once you get savvy in this area, you have to find someone to help you invest that money. And long shots are not the way to go. But people of limited means, you can get into a mutual fund or something like that. But once you're in the stock market, you have to really learn all the complexities of securities and bonds and things of that nature. Now, they all have value to you. Now, let's go back to simplicity here. I want to go back to simplicity.
Before you go back to simplicity, I got a question for you, because there's one question I want to make sure we don't lose. Your grandfather told you something about saving money, which was profound. Please tell them that a little bit, because many people will make money, but they'll spend it all. But your grandfather gave you some wise counsel to help you even have money to invest.
Yeah, my grandfather, who I loved very much, was a functional illiterate. And never made more than $25 in any week of his life.
Wow.
He was a Pennsylvania Dutchman, born and raised in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. He called me Sonny. He spoke with a broken accent. He said, Sonny, if a body was to make $20 a week and live on that, the minute you make 25, put the $5 away. Now, keep in mind, this man could not drive a car. He had, because he couldn't read or write. And when he died leaving an estate of $14,000. Now, if I was to leave $14 billion, it wouldn't be the equivalent of what he did. In every set of circumstances, you are provided the opportunity to put money away in some form. Putting money in a savings account today isn't all that, except that the money will always be there. But it doesn't earn much today, the minuscule earnings. But if you were to engage through a competent broker advisor, and that individual showed you how to put that money away, all the little parts and pieces that you earn will become part of that. There's some simple things for people without money. First of all, I believe wherever you go, whatever you do, you're going to buy a pair of shoes, you're going to buy a suit, you're going to buy a rug, you're going to even go in a restaurant or a hotel, ask for a discount.
Wow.
Ask for a discount. If you
always ask for a discount.
Positively. Now you can get them from a number of sources. You can get them from just being old. Now, I don't know how old you are, but younger people say when you're over 30-year-old. Somewhere in your late 50s or 60s, you're considered a senior citizen. And you ask for a senior citizen's discount.
Yes.
The worst that can happen is they say we don't have one. But if you go into, let's say you go into a Marriott, and you go into that restaurant in that Marriott, they have a senior citizen's discount. If you belong to AAA, there's a AAA there. If you're a veteran, you can have a driver's license that identifies you as a veteran, and it'll show right on there. And you're entitled in many places to a veteran's discount. Now, all that may seem very small, but in my business, whoever we did business with, the suppliers, we paid them. We always paid them on time. Then I found out the majority of their customers don't pay on time. So I said to them, I would like a prompt payment discount, 2% pre-tax. So what that means, without the taxes, if I'm buying something for $100, I get 2%. If you take 2% and multiply it in the proper factors over a year, it's not 24% if you get 2% a month. It's somewhere around 32.7 because you're compounding the money you put away. Money earns money. Money earns money.
Money earns money. Money earns money. So I want to make sure, folks, you don't lose two things he said. First of all, always, if Grandpa told him, Sonny, if you make $25, you can live on 20, put $5 away. And his grandfather left $1,400 back, $14,000. His grandfather left $14,000 back in depressionary times. That was like $1 million now, folks. That's a big deal. And he put it away little by little. Save. Always save some money. Second, when you have money coming in, before you spend it, ask for a discount. Ask for a discount. Many people will pay full rate for everything, for the car, for typically Americans, the only thing they try and negotiate are the house and the car. Everything else they pay full rate for.
Well, but even that, people don't negotiate properly with even houses or cars.
No, hold that thought, Pop. We're going to come right back. We're going to take a quick break for station identification. And I'm going to let him go in on y'all, folks, on how to make money, how to make your money, make more money. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. We're on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show. We're going to stay tuned because we got to take a break for station identification, but we got more for you that will help you grow your wealth. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store. Get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show with my special guest, Dave Yoho, 93 years old, doing great things. He works not because he has to. Let me make that clear. He works every day, all day, with meeting after meeting, conference after conference, still giving some speeches. He doesn't have to do it. He loves to do it. It keeps him strong and healthy. But he is an expert on creating wealth. Now, we're going to come right back after this quick little message from my sponsor. We are so excited about Truist, the bank that's here because they care. If you take a bank that cares and you start with caring, then you will come up with Truist. Here's what happened. BB&T and SunTrust merged to form Truist with a shared purpose to build better lives and communities. Let me give you one example. Truist has come up with something called the Truist Community Benefits Plan. They've earmarked $60 billion, that's billion with a B, to invest in affordable housing, nonprofit support, small business growth, and helping people to have greater success in their professional and personal lives. So you can see that while Truist is committed to a better banking experience for you, they're just as committed to giving back to the community and creating meaningful change for all folks, all people of every part of this country. So I hope you'll check them out at Truist.com. That's right, Truist.com, Truist.com, Truist Financial, member FDIC. Well, Pop Yoho is telling us how to create wealth, how he has done it, and how you can do it, starting with a GED,
He got a GED when he came back from the war, World War II. World War II. He came back from World War II with not finishing high school, got a GED, put himself through undergrad, and then he went on to build a business that has gone on to become an empire, but is not how much money you make, is what you do with the money you keep and how you make that money get up and go to work every day, just like you get up and go to work. Pop Yoho, you were telling us about the fact that it's saving money and then getting discounts and even negotiating. You're saying most people don't even negotiate well on their homes and cars. And I said, that's usually the only thing Americans will negotiate. Everything else, they just pay whatever the people say pay. Talk more about that.
Well, first of all, negotiation is a peculiar thing. And I have a lovely wife, been married 47 years to this gorgeous woman, but she doesn't like it when I negotiate. So I put this as a floor plan. Never want something so much that you're not willing to walk away from it. You don't get just consideration. So let me say some of you listening may own small businesses. And we tell everybody this in the small business world. Make sure you have protection. That's something like let's see, an LLC. Pretty easy to set up. That's a limited liability company being treated as a corporation, an LLC. Or you can set up an S corporation, which is a form of corporation where that doesn't pay corporate taxes. An LLC doesn't pay corporate taxes, but it's pushed through. All that income comes pushed through to you. So if you're doing that well, buy your car through your company if you can. Now, there are some drawbacks to it, but one of the fundamental things is you get the depreciation on that vehicle, car or truck, passed on to your corporation. You don't get that as an individual. You don't get a fiduciary benefit from it. Now, in all the things you do, you have to be cautious of all of the things that are involved that you have to pay for. And when you get done buying a car and you agree on it, then they give you a whole list of what they call F&Is. They give you a whole list of the things that are on there. They want you to buy the insurance there. That you have to look at each of those things and say, do I really want them from this source? And so the final thing you say when you're buying a car is, I like it. I love it. You're a little beyond what I intended to pay, not beyond the budget, not behind the worth of the car. So we've only got 15 minutes left here, Mr. Salesperson, Miss Salesperson. Tell me what you can do for me to make me want to do this today rather than later. Now, they'll always say, let me talk to the manager. And then the manager comes and says, I'll show you the invoice on the car. Well, I don't care about any of that because the invoice doesn't mean anything in the automotive industry. That invoice says, this is the suggested dealer retail price. That's what that says. But from that, they get bulk discounts for the number they buy and how many, a lot of factors. But I'm saying wherever you go, test the water that way. If you test the waters that way, you'll get people who give you something. Your wife will get annoyed if you're a male, but some women become better negotiators than men. The next thing is anything easy is probably going to cost you something. So you all walk around with credit cards. I had a client call me and I was in Savannah, Georgia. I went over to Savannah, Georgia, and he had a hotel set up for the conference room and he had a room for me there. And when I checked in, he was standing right there and my clients pay my transportation, lodging, and what have you. He took out a card, stack of cards, half to 3/4 of an inch. Now that could be in credit cards, that could be 15 different credit cards. And he had a rubber band around him. When I use this one, and he put one of them down, and that's what they charged the room to. So when we were having dinner that night, I said to him, I remember his name was, his first name was Cardinal, I called him Card. Card, I said, so what's the interest on that card? Which card? The card that you charge the room to. He didn't have a clue.
Mm.
You know what the interest is on a credit card? 13, 15, 18, 20, 21, 22%.
Right.
It's a lot of money. So my concept is don't pay interest. Now, if you're already paying interest, for me saying don't pay interest, that looks like it's a world away. So what I tell people also, anytime you get a windfall, so you pick the credit card that has the highest debt and make up your mind you're going to pay that sucker off.
Yes.
When did you get the highest debt? And anytime you get a windfall, I don't care whether it's $40, $100, whatever it might be, pay off that debt. Just reduce that card so that you don't have a balance on it anymore. I don't pay interest. I have credit cards, but they're not really credit cards. They're charge cards in my mind.
Right. They're
And
charge cards. In lieu of cash, you just say, here is the card, but you pay that card off every month, no interest charges.
Okay. And when I can't fit into that card, I don't buy. Now, it's been a long time since I ever had the problem that some of your listeners may have. You get to the end of the month, but earlier you had the end of the money before the end of the month.
Right.
I understand that. My parents never owned a home, and then during the Depression, when things were bad, the landlord of our home, we paid $11 a month rent, and we couldn't make the payment. But he came around and offered us to sell us the home for $850, and you had to have $200 for the building and loan and $25 for closing, or you couldn't buy that house. And my parents couldn't buy that house.
Wow.
Always put yourself in a position that what you want, you can buy. Now, going back to this business of interest again, the credit card makes it easy. You are encumbering yourself with debts, which is almost non-recoverable. Where are you going to get that money back?
Right.
So, funny thing, we were shopping, and my wife saw a store that we really liked, a jewelry store, and she went in there. And this was not, it was an unconscious thing. She would look and she was going to buy. I said, Carol, look at that watch. I think that watch would look gorgeous on you. Put the watch on. So everything is fine. I said, I want you to have the watch. Oh, well, right now we went, fine. I can afford it. You can have the watch. So I hand my American Express card to the clerk. I said, don't run this. I want you to go, who owns this store? Oh, Mr. Gilbert. Well, he's not here. Well, who's your general manager? That's Mr. Swansea. Let me see. I said, here, I'm giving you the American Express card. I know that on the transaction, you will pay 3.8% on my purchase. So how much will you give me if I pay you in cash right now? That's saving. Well, they said, we can't do it. You won't do it. I said, fine. If you can't, you can't. But keep in mind, you'll pay me or you'll pay American Express. Are you sure you're making the right decision? So they finally get Mr. Gilbert on the phone, and he says, well, who is this guy? I said, give me the phone and I'll talk to him. I said, I got the money, but I don't need the watch. And my wife doesn't need the watch, but we would like to buy it from you. If you'd like to buy it, I want to start out by saying, I know how American Express works. You pay 3.8% on the purchase. Give me that amount of money and you got yourself a deal. He said, you got it. He said, no question, because now you're talking to the guy who wasn't making a sale. He's looking about how he makes money. It's the same amount of money. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm showing the various ways that you can manipulate the system. If you're buying a house today and everything looks great, you get submitted to paperwork. This is for this, and this is for that, and this is for this and that. Ask what every one of those things. I don't sign anything without reading it. I buy a house. I say, send all the papers that you want me to sign it at the time of closing. Send them all to me. And I'm going to find something within those papers that I don't want to pay for. I am a person who wants to keep what assets I have.
Yes.
And
the more you have, the more you can let that money work for you, and rather than giving it away.
and do good things. And I never forget I have a partner above all in Jesus Christ.
Yes.
See, and so I owe something to him for just the long way he brought me, how God directed my life. So everything I do and every time I have to consider him. So show you something today. And I might have sent you this, Willie. I don't know. I thought he did anyhow. Let's say I had stock. You bought stock if you have any kind of stock.
Yes.
And you paid, let's say, $2,500 to invest in this stock.
Yes.
And you bought 8 or 10 years ago.
Yes.
And that stock has now risen to $7,500. That's an increase of $5,000. So if you were to sell that stock today, you would pay capital gains tax on $5,000. Now, depending what your earnings are, your capital gains could be anywhere from 3 to 5% up to 20%. And if you're a high earner, it's 23%. So that $10,000, which is the profit on the original 5, giving me $15,000, that $10,000 is subject to taxation. So I can give that to my church. And the way you do it.
Hold that thought, Pop. Hold that thought. I want to come right back to that point. We're going to take a quick break. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent. You can call on me when you need me. Call me. You can call on me. Call me. You can call on me. Pick up the phone. You can call and call me.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friends said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley with my special guest, 93-year-old Dave Pop, as I call him, Yoho. And he has been my mentor, and he's been my friend. And he and his wife have engrafted us with great counsel. Now, he is giving you insights on things that he's told me personally. When we started our first business account as this speaking business, he told us what bank to go to. He said, go to this bank, and they do work well with the small businesses. We did that. And he has told us, don't pay interest. I don't pay interest on my credit cards because I listen to him. And every month when that credit, I have it automatically set up. I don't even have to think about it. It's automatically set up to pay the whole thing every month online. I don't have to even think about it. We make that card a charge card, not a credit card. He said, you make sure that if you have business debt, which we have had, he said, pay that off as quick as you can. Get that off of you as quick as you can. If you got books or so forth, and we made it a priority. These are things that will help you have more money to create assets. Assets create wealth. Let's make sure you understand that. Rich is what you do. Wealthy is what you own. If it's stocks, bonds, crypto, whatever it is the result of you owning something that creates income, that creates revenue. So, Pop, you were talking about you get the money and you want to give it to a church or whatever. What's the process?
Now go back to the example I was giving you before. If you invested $2,500 in the stock and now it's worth $7,500, use the example if it's only $500. Or if it's $50,000. But you took the $2,500 you invested, which is now worth $7,500, which means a $5,000 increase. Depending where you are, you'll pay taxes on that.
Right.
If you were going to give that to your church, what you do is you make arrangements with the broker. He'll give you a form to make out. And instead of you ever touching that money goes directly to your church. Don't touch it. It's transferred to your church. Now your church has $7,500 from you. And all of that $7,500 is given to you, a receipt for a contribution to a charity. So you get that $7,500 deduction. Now, this may seem complex to you. It is the little things you look at that you are responsible for in your life, because the acquisition of wealth is also, if you have 3 children and you want to leave them an estate, you don't have responsibility to make them rich. But the chances are, if you work hard, they were deprived of their time to spend with you and whatnot. And if you worked hard, you want to preserve as much as you can to pass on to your children. And so then can go back to that $7,500 again. You get a charitable contribution receipt, which works up to, you can write off charity in your own earnings up to 30% of your adjusted gross income. Now that's a little more complex, but it really starts with little things. You have in your own house things that are worth money. And this is my Aunt Ida's. This is a desk that my Aunt Ida's grandfather made 100 years ago, or we bought this, or she worked for a wealthy family and they gave her this desk. Find out what it's worth, get it appraised. You can give that to a charity. Now, there's keys to that. If you give to your church, let's say you have a desk in your home and you gave that to the church doesn't measure what you paid for it. The church has to have an appraisal.
Right.
Now the church says that desk is now worth $2,200. That's what it is. You can donate that to the church, and once you donate it, it's out of your hand, but there's a catch. If that church turns around and sells it for $1,500, that's the only receipt you're going to get. But if they keep it for 6 months and sell it, then you're going to get the $2,200. So you have to look into that. That's a contribution.
Well, we were talking on the phone one day, and you said, Willie, you need to have a plan for investing your money to work for you. And you need to have a plan, if you're wealthy, for keeping your tax bite low. And this is one of those strategies is he just gave you, folks, is that you find ways that you can offset the contributions you have to take away your tax bite, because that's money that got to be paid. You know, you're going to have to pay the taxes or you're going to go to jail. But there is tax strategies that you can use. So let's go over what he's told you already. One, that you work hard. You got to work hard. Two, is that you make sure that whatever you make, that you save some of it. You put it away and you start accumulating. You use all the assets and all the tools, SEP, IRA. You use all of those tools. And then once you get those revenues moving, then you have a tax strategy so that you understand the taxes so that you don't lose, and then never pay interest on anything. And then make sure that you make it clear that you're going to ask for a discount. You're going to ask for it. All they can say is no, but you're going to ask. As one friend said one time, I had a friend who come from another country. He said, we negotiate everything. We negotiate everything. And if we can't get the price lowered, we get one more apple in the dozen, then he said, we got a 13th apple. We ask for it. If you don't ask, you don't get. Okay, Pop, we got a few minutes left. I'll ask a question every interview that I want to ask you. You come into town, you come into DC for something. I say, Pop, let me pick you up. We go to lunch. And I say, let's go over to Howard University or to GW or Georgetown or Catholic, one of the great. We're going to a business class there, and there are students who want to be entrepreneurs, who want to be business people, and they say, what does it take? And I want you to give them 2, 3, 4 you gotta do this if you're going to be successful in life. If you want to be a success, you gotta do this.
Okay, I do want to make this point before you say it. There's something you just said. I came from a poor family.
Yes.
No one in my family made the kind of money that I made in my life. But I have a responsibility to protect all those people too, make it possible for them to own homes or do things. Poor people remain poor people by listening to advice from people who don't have to share the consequences. You like that? Do something for yourself once in a while. Get it. You got a credit card. You got credit to get it. We'll make it easy for you. Poor people stay poor by taking advice. And I'm talking about politicians as well. And here's what you have to do. You have to hold yourself responsible for where you are. Education is the foundation of everything you will do for the rest of your life. Education is that foundation. Never kid yourself. The guy that has better education than you, more education than you, may not have your desires or work as hard as you. So there's a compensator, but he has more tools to work with.
Yes.
So I say to young people at that stage of life, do you recognize that you are now not the educated person you want to be, but you have the foundation for being the education you want to be? And then never forget this. You owe something back to all the people who help you get where you are. I don't care whether they're white or black or Asians or Indian. I'm saying all these people were the substance of our community, and we owe something to them. And it's okay to feed back to them. But with a moralistic view, I also say, give to those who are willing to give to others. Give to those. And so I say that to people. And then I always end up by saying, this is a great country we live in. And it's not the government that made it great. It's people like yourself that makes it great. And you look for greatness in your community. I'm talking to the college students now. And just savor where you are today compared to your ancestors, let's say 3 or 4 generations before. And you got a lot to be thankful for every day.
Absolutely. Wow. Pop Yoho. He has done it again. He's told you don't pay interest on anything, negotiate everything, and make a commitment to work hard. And remember what his grandfather taught him. Sonny boy, if you make $25, you spend $20 to live, $5 you put away. And you put that money away and you make that money work for you. This is a masterclass, folks. in finances. You know, I get it all the time, and I wanted you to hear some of the things I've learned. He helped me set up my LLC. He told me to get my S Corp. We did that. He taught us where to go banking. We did that. He taught us don't pay interest. I don't pay interest. He has given me wise counsel over the years, and I'm glad I had a chance for him to share with you. Thank you, Pop, for being part of my tribe, my community, my family with everybody else. Thank you so much.
All right, I'd like to end with this. Go see me on YouTube. Look up Dave Yoho, Davyoho on YouTube, and look for the speech that Willie talked about. It was made in 2017, War Memorial Speech. Dave Yoho, the day we made it, we had 1,250,000 viewers.
Amen. Amen. This is so wonderful. Folks, I want to thank Dave, what I call him Pop, Yoho, for being my guest. Go to daveyoho.com. You can read about him. You can Google him and go see that speech on YouTube. I also want to thank our sponsor, Truist Financial. We're excited to be partnering with Truist Financial, BB&T, and SunTrust merged to form Truist, a bank that cares with a special purpose that build better lives and communities. See how they are exploding potential at truist.com, Truist.com. And I want to thank each one of you. Join us every Monday night at 9:00 Eastern at A Jolley Marriage on Facebook, A Jolley Marriage on Instagram, or on Willie Jolley LinkedIn Live for Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, the broadcast, the show I do with my wife every Monday night on helping to improve and enrich marriages. We have a goal of saving 1 million marriages, enhancing 1 million marriages. So join us. And then go to winwithwillie.com, sign up for my newsletter. So I'll send you a weekly tip sheet on what I have learned that week to help you have greater health, wealth, and wisdom. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And I want to thank you for your time. And I want to thank Dave Yoho for his time. And remember, folks, that your best is still yet to come. Go out and make it happen. Have a great day. God bless you.
Are you tired of crying and complaining? Tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair? Do you see so many others moving on while you're steady going nowhere? Have you maybe come to the conclusion that there's nothing at all?
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire, williejolly.com/billionaire, or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.